You mentioned Wisconsin. They are the favorites to win the West Division at plus 130. To win the conference, 9-1 at Circa, plus 750 at DraftKings. Massive change on the sidelines. You bring in Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, who, of course, led the Bearcats to the college football playoff just a couple years ago, and they go get Phil Longo, who is going to run an up-tempo, spread-it-out type of offense in Wisconsin, which is going to be an absolute drastic change. If you're wondering, schedule-wise, they play Iowa at home, which is certainly beneficial, October 14th. They do, of course, play Ohio State, but they get them at home. No Penn State and no Michigan for the Badgers. Tanner Mordecai comes in from SMU, a host of other transfers. 8.5 is the win total here for the Badgers, Wes. How are you looking at Wisconsin?
Over. Look, I think Luke Fickell is going to be very successful up there in Madison. He's going to recruit at a different level, certainly, than they've been doing the last few years. It is going to be interesting because they are going to install that up-tempo, air raid-ish type of offense, but Wisconsin is not going to abandon the run, considering the fact that you have Braylon Allen and Chez Malusi, arguably one of the best running back tandems in the country. They ran for 3,800 yards and 30 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. They are not going to abandon that running game because when you hear that tempo and air raid, you think pass, 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 but they still run the ball plenty in that offense. And look, Mordecai coming in because the Phil Longo fit, at least on the surface, is like, oh my God, what are they doing up there in Madison? This is not Wisconsin football, but they're going to try to do a hybrid there, I think, on offense. They do bring their top 3 receivers back, also hit the portal pretty hard to upgrade that talent at that position. They're going to be hybrid on offense and also hybrid on defense because Mike Tressel comes with Luke Fickell from Cincinnati to be the defensive coordinator, and they're going to run a lot of those 3-3-5 that they ran at Cincinnati, and also mix a little bit with what worked under Jim Leonard, who's the departing defensive coordinator and was the interim coach when Paul Chryst got let go. So defensively, I think that they're going to be okay. They do get their strong safety Hunter Wohler back, who did miss 7 games with the leg injury. He's kind of going to be like that rover, that hybrid safety linebacker. So I like the talent on this team. Look, I still don't think that they have enough to beat the Penn States, even though I think against Ohio State, that's going to be a tricky spot for the Buckeyes at the end of October. So they're still a little bit below that big 3, and I know the West is looked at as wide open, and they got that tricky trip to Washington State on the Palooza earlier in the year.
Revenge factor.
Yes, absolutely, but I still like the Badgers here. I think this offense is going to be fun to watch, incorporating a lot more passing. And also, there are going to be times where it's going to be the old school run the damn ball up there in Madison, and they're going to be able to do that and do that very well.
To your point about, the Phil Longo offense and, they're not going to run the ball. They've got this stallion and Braylon Allen. Let's go back to 2020, ladies and gentlemen, when they played 11 games down in North Carolina. Javonte Williams, who is now with the Denver Broncos, Michael Carter, who is now with the New York Jets, 1,140 yards for Javonte Williams, 7.3 yards per carry, 19 touchdowns. Right. Michael Carter, 1,245 yards, 8 yards per carry, 9 touchdowns. Don't worry, Badger fans. You're going to run the football, and I think you'll run the football incredibly well.
And there's a reason why Luke Fickell brought in 2 guys from Cincinnati, Jake Renfro and Joe Huber, on that offensive line. They're going to run the damn ball, as they say.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.